Welcome to the League of Women Voters of Washington interviews of candidates for Supreme Court justices in the general election. The League is a nonpartisan organization. We never support a party or a candidate. My name is Wendy Staley Johnson, and my guest is Sean O'Donnell, who is running for position 4 on the Washington State Supreme Court. We are asking all candidates for this office the same 4 questions. Each candidate has up to 90 seconds to answer each question, and the answers are timed. This video of candidate O'Donnell's responses will remain on our website until after the general elections on Tuesday, November 3rd, 2026. Candidate O'Donnell, thank you very much for agreeing to this interview and seeking to serve in public office. Our first question is, what are the benefits of being or not being a judge before running for the state Supreme Court?
Well, thank you for your question, and thanks for having all of us participate in this process. I think there's a real benefit in being a judge before you're a justice, and in particular, being a trial judge, which I've been a trial judge for almost 14 years now. Decision making is hard. It's hard because you have to have the discipline to know that your personal opinion shouldn't get in the way of analyzing the law and the facts in the case. The work at the trial level is where we deal with people. And hearing their stories and knowing their experiences is something that you experience firsthand as a trial judge. At the appellate court level, like the Supreme Court, you're reading about those experiences. Now, I've served as a pro tem justice on the state Supreme Court, and of course, I've been a trial judge for many years. And those experiences, hearing from people firsthand, I think are an immense benefit when you're deciding critically important legal issues, constitutional issues that the Supreme Court decides. And so I feel well prepared for this position.
Thank you. How would you approach a case in an area of law with which you have no knowledge or experience?
Yeah, and this happens in courts of general jurisdiction. And my general practice is this. First of all, I read everything that the lawyers present to me. And normally the lawyers have decades of experience or years of experience in their field of expertise. So that's a good start, is to reading what they submit. I always do my own research as well. So the lawyers can give me cases, but I'll look up my own cases. What I can't do is investigate the facts on my own. That's actually prohibited under our canons. So in an instance where the area of law is new to me, I start with the lawyer's briefs. I do my own research. I carefully consider all of the evidence that has been presented to me. There are times where I'll consult with my colleagues. And one of the interesting things about the Supreme Court is that collaboration is an important part of the job, listening to the other justices' opinions, weighing those opinions against your own, and having the humility to realize you might not have all the answers. As I said in my earlier response, I've been a trial judge for almost 14 years, and this has been what I've done in all the cases I've decided and the thousands of decisions I've made as a judge.
Thank you. When is it appropriate for the judiciary to overturn a statute or popular referendum?
The bar is high, and it should be high because the separate branches of government are there for a reason. It's by design. The people's voice is through the legislature, and that's where statutes, laws are written and passed. So the legal test we use in Washington to find a statute, for example, is constitutionally insufficient, is that the person saying it's bad has to prove beyond a reasonable doubt, either that facially, as it's written, it violates our state constitution or the federal constitution, or they can say, well, as applied to these particular facts, the statute violates the Constitution and should be overturned. That's a last resort. And as I said when I started the answer, it's a high burden. And the reason it's a high burden is because the legislature is the policy voice of the state, the people's voice. And our three branch of government system bakes in or has real deference to each other branch, each of the other branches. And so that should not be an easy thing to undo.
Thank you. And our last question is there a judge or justice in history or today who you most admire and why?
Yeah, I go back a few years or decades actually. I admire Chief Justice Earl Warren. The Chief Justice of the United States Supreme Court dealt with some of the most impactful and societal changing decisions I think the court has seen in the last 150 years. So Brown versus Board of Education, um, Gideon v. Wainwright, which was the decision that allowed for public defense, the Miranda decision. And what Chief Justice Warren was able to do is build consensus. That's something I've tried to do throughout my career is build consensus on efforts to improve the judiciary. And I admired him for being able to listen, being able to, again, I mentioned that humility and knowing that maybe your colleagues have it right. Uh, but he was amazingly effective in guiding the legal landscape of our country, and he did it through consensus. And so that's why I choose him. And we don't have enough consensus, fortunately, in public life or the judiciary these days. And I think we could use more of that.
Thank you. And once again, thank you for giving the public this insight into your views and values. Viewers, please remember to vote by November 3rd. You can deposit your ballot in any of the official ballot drop boxes located throughout the state. If you prefer to mail your ballot, it must be postmarked by November 3rd to be counted. If you are mailing your ballot after October 27th, we recommend you hand it directly to a postal clerk and request a postmark at the counter. You may also return your ballot in person at any county auditor's office. When in doubt, always use a drop box. A complete list of Dropbox locations is included in your voter's pamphlet. Voters can find additional information about these and other candidates for state and federal offices by visiting vote411.org. This concludes our candidate interview.